going to be doing some cooking tonight, making baklava for holiday that should remain nameless. And to do so, gathered all of the ingredients and the equipment I should need, minus a knife and a brush. Gonna be making a syrup out of honey and water and sugar, which is also over here. Very good syrup, actually. It feels like a lot, but really doesn't turn out to be that much. And anyone who's had baklava knows the syrup is really good on it. We have both walnuts and almonds for the nut portion of the filling, which will be really good. Going to be doing 3 cups of each, or not of each, but total. So, 1.5 cups of each. And then the spices, a couple teaspoons of cinnamon, less than that for cloves and nutmeg. Really good for the filling. And then the 2 most important ingredients, the phyllo dough and the butter, because you're going to be using a lot of both of them. The biggest recommendation I have for the phyllo dough is, if you get it, keep it in the fridge and use it right away. Otherwise, if you're freezing it, take it out at least a day or so beforehand, so that you know that it's soft. And see, I can compact it a little here, which last time I made some baklava, I couldn't do that. It was about as incompactable as this butter that I just got out of the freezer a few hours ago, actually. Yeah, frozen phyllo dough is really, really hard to work with and falls apart almost instantly. So you want to be really careful of that. That's the biggest lesson I learned with it. And the butter, the recipe calls for about half of it. You may need to use more. Half of this being 1 cup. So yeah, it's not really too much, but because you're going to be doing a layer of butter every single layer of phyllo dough, top and bottom. You're probably going to need more than you think you do, so always have more than enough on hand just in case. First step in this will be getting the butter melted for the first few layers of phyllo dough, and really get everything out of the pan that I'm going to be putting everything in, using the biggest baking pan we have, because you're going to need a lot of room for it. Okay, we have our first round of butter melted down just first cup, 1 cup of it. If you really want to get fancy, you can scoop off the top layer and just use the clarified butter under it, and that'll make things really, really tasty. Brush we use is just a small paintbrush that's dedicated just for cooking stuff. Very good to have on hand. I mean, you don't really need a fancy brush, just a cheap paintbrush that you never put paint on is the best thing you can do for like applying glazes and that sort of stuff. And also got the filling mixed up pretty well. It's just the mixture of walnuts and almonds with the spices, and just mix them all together really well. For the phyllo dough, which is out, what you want to do is take the brush, get a nice amount, just a nice thin small layer of butter down, however well you want to spread it. Then you take one single tiny super thin sheet. Whoa! And place it down. Place it down on the pan. Take a little butter, and then gently go over the dough afterwards. Just you do that for 7 layers. Put down a lid, then you put down half the filling, 7 more layers, the other half of the filling, 7 more layers. So you can see, even being light with the butter, you're going to use it up really quickly. And now you can also see why I chose the biggest pan we have, because one sheet fills up the entire pan. So just going to be doing this for a while and come back once that's ready. Okay, everything's layered nicely, and did a bit of dusting from the leftover spices in the mixing bowl. Last step before you put it in the oven is you want to do a bit of a cross-hatching pattern. So it's just like a, well, not really a 45, but cut the baklava and like a bit of a diamond pattern. So get that going on there, and then put it in the oven for about an hour at 350. And while you're doing that, you can mix up the honey sauce, which will be or the syrup, which will be what I do right after I put everything in and cut this. Alright, for the syrup, we got a cup and a half of water going with a cup of sugar right now. There's another half cup of sugar, and then a 3/4 cup of honey. Just heating it until all of the sugar is going to be dissolved, all the honey is dissolved. It doesn't end up as a thick syrupy paste, but it'll be very good once it's done. Since this takes a lot less time than the actual baking, I recommend just keeping it over low heat once you're got everything mixed, so that it's nice and hot for final step of the recipe, which will be once everything is taken out of the oven. Okay, got a little crispy because I set the oven a bit too high, but baklava's done, the honey sauce is ready, and last but not least step is you take this, pour it over while everything's still hot. And then just let it cool. Our cookbook says do it over a rack, but Personally, I like this way. It turned out really well. The honey gets into like every nook and cranny, and well, makes up for a bit of the silver cooking too. Yeah, well, everything is really hot and just comes out really nice in the end. It has a nice coat on it and everything. So yes, this is the final product. What it should look like. If you make it at home, yours probably won't be as crispy, but hey, that's actually a bit of a good thing with this. So yeah, give it a shot. Should have everything you need in this video. So good luck making it on your own. Have fun.